The Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Mr Speaker, I guess that the Minister of Health thinks that the Prime Minister isn't listening, because if he thought the Prime Minister was listening, he would not have made that speech, directly attacking what his Prime Minister committed National to doing. I've got a challenge for the Minister of Health. If he is so confident of his figures and his facts, argue them out at a select committee. Let those facts be aired at a select committee where members of the opposition can have the advantage of advice from officials. Admittedly, they have to get the minister's sign-off. It's not really independent advice, so that we can have the facts on the table and debate it. I don't think the minister has got the confidence of his argument. I don't think that he has the courage of his convictions to be able to back this debate at a select committee. That would be the courageous thing to do. So that's the challenge that I want to put to the minister. I want to ask the national member who spoke immediately prior to the minister, whose name just escapes me, but he made quite a big fuss about the fact that this bill, the Affordable Healthcare Bill in the name of the Right Honourable Winston Peters, breached the Bill of Rights, and what an outrage that was. I've got a little sentence to read to that member. It says, New Zealand Public Health and Disability Amendment Bill. That was a bill that was introduced by the national government during the budget and went through all stages under urgency. Not a single submission was heard, not a single contribution from the public. No members of the opposition were able to get any information from officials because it went through right until Saturday night. Thursday, the debate started after the budget, all day Friday through till midnight. First thing on Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, we were here again debating it, and it finished late on Saturday afternoon. That bill, according to the Attorney-General, the Honourable Christopher Finlayson, who I'm sure was not misleading the House, breached the Bill of Rights Act. It put in the law a provision that stopped family members taking a complaint to the Human Rights Commission. This is New Zealand, and that government stopped family caregivers taking what they considered to be a breach of human rights in a complaint to the Human Rights Commission. That's what the law says currently. And the regulatory impact statement, that it's meant to be the independent advice to Parliament about the impact of the particular legislation. It was so redacted that we could hardly read it, Mr Speaker. Nearly page after page after page of the RIS was redacted. So those members shouldn't come and lecture us about the fact that the Affordable Healthcare Bill breaches the human rights legislation. The proposal is not to ram it through all stages under urgency. The proposal we're debating tonight is that this bill should go to a select committee where members of the public can contribute, particularly those members who have got to their 70s or 80s or 90s and have had to stop paying their medical insurance because they haven't got enough spare money, and now they're facing major medical costs. If Jonathan Coleman says this isn't the answer, what is the answer to that question? What opposition, what alternatives is he proposing? Well, I haven't heard any. So the bill says that we should have a rebate for private health insurance. It says we should remove fringe benefit tax, which employers currently pay, and they've compared that to the member who's introduced the bill has compared that to the way that ACC levies are currently paid and the entitlement that is born from that. But I think more than anything else, this bill reminds the House that in the last 7 long years, we have had every year budget cuts in the health system. So the public health system, which is where most people rely, every year the new budget has not been enough to keep up with the cost of health inflation or population increases. So in effect, in the reality, the real world where we live, rather than the theory where the Minister of Health lives, the health budget has been cut. It is now underfunded by $1.7 billion. So the ideas that are contained in this bill need to be contrasted against that significant underfunding. It deserves to be sent to a select committee where we can have the debate properly.